Hi, I'm Claire from Make a Brew. I'm a branding expert, and in this video I'm going to tell you how you use a brand style guide. Now there's loads of information out there on the internet about how you create one, but nobody seems to be telling you how to use it. Hopefully you've got a good relationship with your designer or your creative agency and they've helped you to implement the style guide and to be able to use it so that it's effective for your building your brand. So first, a brand style guide. Hopefully you've got a really good relationship with your designer or your creative agency and they've given you a style guide and they've explained to you and given you some guidance on how you can use it to implement and maintain the branding that you've invested in. So first off, definition. Brand style guide, brand book, brand guide, brand guidelines. It's often referred to in these terms regularly, but they all basically mean the same thing. It's kind of a recipe book for your brand identity and the elements that you've got within it. How you use it, where you use it, and how you can keep on track with it. So there's several different things within it, and normally I would expect it to contain these structured things. Your business, however, might differ slightly. There might be a little bit less in it, there might be a little bit more in it, depending on what you do and what package you did with your creative agency. So secondly, content. Now the main things that go into your brand style guide would be your logo and the different variations of that logo. You might get a long thin one, something that looks like you see it through a letterbox. These are often used in places like websites. You might have a more square format one. These are often used in places like social media. You should also have a black only and a white only version of your logo so that you can use it when it's required. Sometimes your colours might not look right in the situation it's been put in. For example, if you advertise in a magazine or something and they've got a particular style and a colour scheme, your logo might clash with it. So having a black version or a white version would help you make sure your brand stands out on that colour scheme. It should also contain things to do with your fonts and typography, like what typefaces should your brand use. Sometimes you will have a font for your logo, but then you'll also have secondary or tertiary fonts that you use as well. So there might be something that was used for headlines or for body text, or you might have a slightly different font for printed material or for online material. These will be listed in the guide, giving you the name of the font and the different weights, because you can get things that are thinner and slighter, you can get bold, you can get italic, you can get different versions of lots of different fonts. So having this information all together in one place means you've got something constant to refer back to. Your guideline also might include imagery. So if you've decided during the development of your brand that you're going to use a certain type of image, for example, you're never going to use people in any of the photographs that you use to promote the brand, or you are going to use people. Do these people always have to be happy and smiling? Is there certain characteristics? Do the images need to be edgy and funky and look slightly arty? Do your images style match the brand that you are building for your business and what your customers will be attracted to? This is often listed in there. There might also be some assets or toolkit, so you might have social media templates, the post templates or the cover banners or things like that. These will usually be in the guide as well, so these are the ones to use. Now looking more at usage, your guide will not only tell you what assets you've got, it will also help you use them. So for your logo, for example, you'll have something that says where it should be positioned on a page, for example, or on a website or on a particular application. It should be a set distance from the top of the page or the bottom of the page or wherever it sits. It might sit in the centre, it might sit in top or bottom corner. These things will be listed in there. It might also say how you use the versions, so you should only use the black version only in a certain situation or circumstance. You might have a guide where you use the long letterbox version of the logo, often referred to as landscape. I mentioned earlier, this is good for on websites because you've got very little space and a website is built like a cake down in layers. So the less height you use, the more space you've got for your information and to provide value to your customers. There'll be your square versions or different shape versions, or maybe the mark, the symbol only, a little bit like the one on my t-shirt. I often use this mark only because it's great for using as a social media profile image. So you'll have a guideline for that, which version of the logo is the right one to use in the right place. A tip for you, you should also have a list or a spreadsheet somewhere that details everywhere in your business that your logo is used, so that when you've done your rebrand and you're launching it and rolling it out, you're not going to miss anywhere. You're going to make sure you've dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's, and you've updated the right version of the logo on every single place that you use that logo. So you keep this file in your operations manual on a file server somewhere where everybody within your business has got access to it, so you can keep check that things have been done. Don't worry about doing all this yourself. Hopefully your creative agency might help you, or if you've got a team within your business, you can delegate things and give somebody a certain things like a checklist to tick it off. Yes, this has been updated, and then you know you're providing a constant image and everything is all up to date and looking good. Next, the guideline will help you be consistent. Now, in any branding, consistency is absolutely key. I've often seen it where a tradesperson, for example, has got a van with a logo on it, and that's different to the one they've got on their Facebook page and different to the one they've got on a website if they've got it. Now, that might not matter to some people, but to your customers, they're three different businesses. So if you're not consistent in your use of the same logo on everything that you do, from clothing to business cards to vehicles to social media to your website, you're going to look like a disjointed, different business. So one of the tips I always give, be it good or be it bad, always do it consistently. If you've got a team within your business, you need to make sure the team knows that things have been updated. Do they need to update their email signatures? Who do you need to tell? How are you going to tell them? Do you have a communication system within the business like Slack, for example? Is it done on email? How are you going to tell your suppliers, people that might produce things for you, such as workwear or business cards? They need to know that the logo and everything's been updated and how they use it, which one is the right one, and what the rules of the game are. So the guideline would also be a good document that you could share with each person in the team. You make it accessible to everybody, or you have it so you can send it out to your suppliers and people that work with you. Templates are also a good thing to list in your brand guide. They might be for things like social media posts, social media graphics, documents, letters, anything that you use constantly in your business to communicate with your customers or your suppliers. If your team or yourself want to use things like this, you just get the template, your branding's consistent, it's always in the same place, and you just change the content within the page. Makes it much easier. It's very good for time saving, and again, keep it in a central place. You might use iCloud, you might use Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, or a central depository like that. You might have got an internal server that you keep these things on. As long as you have access to it, or you can describe and process where somebody would access these templates, then the guideline can be the instruction book that tells you how to access them and what you do with them, where you use them. Great time saver, and again, it will maintain consistency for your brand. I hope these tips have been useful for you and would give you an idea of how you can use your brand guide and the things that you need to concentrate on when you're implementing and using your brand to build it. If you need some particular help, I'm more than happy to have a one-to-one with you. I call the sessions Brand Fix. So if you've got a guideline and you don't know how to use it, I will have a one-to-one with you and we can describe and discuss how your brand guideline can work for you, what things you need to do and what can fit with your business so that you can maintain brand consistency and build a great brand. If you're interested in that, the link is below. Please get in touch. I would be more than happy to work with you.